Hi everyone, this is your Young People's Love Tap video. I'm always disappointing people. This is a difficult subject because there's a couple different layers to it. So I want to distinguish a couple parts before I give you some tips for dealing with this. Number one, sometimes you simply feel like you've disappointed people. You might have disappointed them or you might not, but it might be just a feeling within you. A second kind of category is people are communicating with you or letting you know that you've disappointed them. If people are communicating with you that you've disappointed them, you want to take a moment and pause and reflect and ask yourself, did you promise something and not deliver it to people? Was there an expectation that you didn't deliver on? In which case, you might want to look at my video, two of them actually. One's be a person of character and integrity, and the other video is simply about the magic of integrity, because perhaps this could be put to bed by you putting in place some integrity. The other thing about this is sometimes people express that they're disappointed in you when you didn't make a promise and you didn't know they expected something from you, so you had no idea because you're not clairvoyant or a mind reader. And if that's the case, as often happens, by the way, that is their circus and their monkeys. And the more you grow yourself so you can properly communicate through an assertive conversation, that you're sorry they're disappointed, but you had no idea they were expecting you to show up or to do this or do that, whatever. So you want to start to distinguish in the area of disappointment. Is it an unfulfilled expectation from another person that they haven't communicated? Or sometimes people have unreasonable expectations of you or me or whoever. And that's just not reasonable. So the more you can grow your skills and abilities, you can start to recognize when someone tries to lay on you, oh, you disappointed me. When if you had no idea, you didn't promise something, that's their circus and their monkeys. So I'm going to give you some tips to try to start to put this at bay, because it doesn't feel good when people make you feel like you've disappointed them. And if you're really a person of integrity, where you do what you say you're going to do, you mean what you say, and you do it, this should not be an issue. And what will happen as you really boost your integrity is you'll recognize, oh, they had an expectation, they had a wish or a desire that I didn't fulfill on, but that's really not my place. It's not my job. All right. So number one in the tip section is you want to start to get physically and mentally and emotionally healthy. That is going to help put so many negative things at bay. You'd be surprised. Maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but it's like phenomenal. So under this arching umbrella of you getting healthy, emotionally healthy in every way, you're going to want to take on self-care. That's like building block, one of the basic building blocks. And I have a video about that in a blog post. The second thing you're going to want to do that's extremely valuable is you are going to want to take on and learn how to identify, manage, and process your emotions. Because if you don't learn to do that, you are at the whim of your emotions, and your emotions are driving the show. No, you don't want your emotions running you. You don't want your emotions controlling your life. You want to be able to feel them, identify them, manage and process them. Now, I have a video about building your emotional abilities, and that has a bunch of tips in it. It's really critical, because if you can't identify, manage, and process your emotions, who's running the show? Your emotions. No, that's not good. That's not powerful. The next thing I want you to do is start, besides doing the self-care and learning how to manage or process your emotions, is to really start to become compassionate with yourself. I just did a blog post and a video about that. That is not something we typically talk about. That's where you're not so hard on yourself. That's where you quiet the inner critic and you start to appreciate yourself and you start to be kind to yourself. What will help you with all of these things, and particularly when people make you feel like you've disappointed them, is to be able to be assertive. I have a video about assertiveness skills, and it's extremely powerful and will definitely help put this business of people making you feel like they've disappointed you when you had no promise or no commitment and you're not a mind reader at bay. The next thing that I want for you that will be helpful in this arena is for you to be well loved. I have a whole video about that. It's one of those things that many people, young, middle-aged, or old, they don't feel well loved. And that's tragic and that's heartbreaking, but that does not have to be your future. You're a young person. You can build a life where you are well loved, even if it's not from your family. And I have a whole bunch of videos about bad families and all the dysfunction that goes on in them and how you can heal from that. The next thing, which I already mentioned, is character and integrity. The more character you have and the more you do what you say, keep your promises, this disappointment business will come up less and less. It won't end because people sometimes have a way of trying to project their junk on you. No, you don't want to take other people's stuff. That's their stuff. You've got your own stuff to deal with. The other thing that might help you is I have a video about inner versus outer beauty. You don't want to be shallow or hollow inside. We have way too many old people and older people who are empty inside. They don't know how to manage and process their emotions. They don't know how to deal with anger. They're not self-compassionate. It's really sad and tragic. That's not the future I want for you. I want you to be well loved and have a great life. So understanding inner versus outer beauty can be helpful for you. The other thing that's really going to help you is to have goals, little goals, big goals, medium-sized goals, any kind of goals, or a life plan. That means you're up to something. If you've set some goals and you're working on them, or you have a life plan or whatever, a vision, you're going to be up to something. This business of people saying, oh, I'm so disappointed in you, put that to bed. Next to the last thing is that it's difficult sometimes to have conversations when people are making you feel like you've disappointed them. So I have a video about having difficult conversations and some skills to build in that, because it's powerful to be able to say, well, I kind of felt like you were intimating or suggesting that I disappointed you, but I had no idea you had that wish or that plan or that thought or whatever. You're not a mind reader, people. And it's powerful to be able to communicate effectively what's going on in life. Now, another thing is really, you want to have a happy life. You want to be free of wounds, be free of trauma, be free of anxiety and depression, and growth and development. Building these skills will get you there. It's a wonderful ride, by the way. It doesn't have to be boring. It can be phenomenal. So let me know how I can help you if you need any other tips on feeling like you're a disappointment or people making you feel like you're a disappointment, and just have a wonderful life.